Hello, dear children. Namaste to all of you. Very warm welcome to VIP series once again. Today we are going to be discussing the CBSE 9 biology chapter, tissues. And this is Ambika, your biology master teacher, right here on this super amazing platform of Vedantu. Well, guys, yes, as you know, or as you perhaps may not know, in the VIP series, we will be discussing many different questions which we intend to give you to make you much better prepared when it comes to your final exams. All right, so we are done with the fundamental unit of life. Today we are going to be discussing the next chapter, which is tissues. All right, yes, so here is something that I want to tell you. Create your own sunshine. Always remember that. Do not wait for sunshine to just come over or somebody else to become sunshine in your life. Always remember to create your own sunshine. That's what matters the most, and that's what feels the best as well. All right, and let us get started with tissues. Well, guys, so we will be discussing many different kinds of questions: 1 marks, 2 marks, 3 marks, and 5 marks. Well, I would suggest to make the best use of these sessions, the VIP series sessions. The best way would be to try and answer the questions yourselves. Okay, of course the PDF is going to be available to you, but please don't unnecessarily mug up the answers. See if you're able to answer them properly. I'm sure this will give you a basic idea about where you need to improve upon. All right, yes, which of these plant parts would have apical meristem? Okay, node of the stem, internode of the stem, tip of root, tip of stem, or inner part of stem. What do you think it could be? Plant parts which would have apical meristem. What is apical meristem? Your time ends in 3, 2, 1, and the answer is tip of the stem, of course. Children, always remember the term apical refers to apex. Okay, apex would mean, literally it means the tip. Okay, growing tips of stems and roots would be where apical meristem would be found. Okay, and remember in the internodes you would find what we call intercalary meristem, and what helps in increasing the girth of the plant body, increasing the girth of the stem would be lateral meristem. So remember this, tip of the stem or tip of the root would always have apical meristem in it. Okay, next one. Write the name of permanent tissue that has chlorophyll. Sclerenchyma, chlorenchyma, erenchyma, or none of these. What do you think? Name of the type of permanent tissue which has chlorophyll. Yes. And your time ends in 3, 2, 1, and go. The answer is chlorenchyma, of course. Remember, children, okay, let me just become a little smaller. Now remember, plant tissues. Okay, plant tissues. I'm just helping you revise this. I'm not going to be discussing this in detail. Okay, we've done that several times already. Are divided into two: meristematic, and there are permanent. Right? Meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. Now, under meristematic is what we've discussed: apical, intercalary, and lateral. Right? Under permanent tissues, we further divide them into two kinds: simple permanent and complex permanent. Okay. Now, under simple permanent would be parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. All right. And under complex would be xylem and phloem. Now, under parenchyma, we categorize the different kinds of parenchyma based on their specific functions. Chlorenchyma and erenchyma are, okay, chlorenchyma and erenchyma are types of parenchymatous tissues. Now, chlorenchyma, as the name indicates, chlorine, sorry, it contains chlorophyll. So yes, that becomes the answer. All right, moving on to the next 1 mark question. The food transported from leaves to other parts of the plants by, or the food gets transported from leaves to other parts of the plants by dash. Okay, the food gets, I'll just add that word here. Xylem, phloem, stem, or root. By now, I'm sure everyone knows the answer to this. Transport of food from leaves to other parts of the plants. What could it be? Beyond doubt, it has to be the lunchbox service. It has to be the phloem. Xylem would be involved in water and mineral transport. Okay. Stem and root, of course, they don't directly act as tissues to help in transport. They are just different organs of the plant body, different parts of the plant body. So food transport or translocation happens with the help of phloem. All right. Now, name the types of simple tissue. So remember, when I say simple tissue, as far as a plant is concerned, we would be talking about simple permanent tissue. Okay, what are they? The different kinds of them. Parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma, of course. Children, remember, it's only a 1 mark question. You don't have to draw diagrams and you don't have to write anything about them either, because a 1 mark question would mean that these three terms together are going to fetch you at 1 full mark. Just make sure you know the features of all of them. For example, parenchyma, always remember that they've got plenty of intercellular spaces between them, right? Plenty of intercellular spaces between them. Then coming to, and they would have very, very thin cell walls. As far as collenchyma is concerned, make sure you draw them without any intercellular spaces. Okay. And the next important thing you need to keep in mind is that there have to be thickenings. But remember, it's collenchyma. They wouldn't be as thick-walled as sclerenchyma. So what do? You just make thickenings at the corners. Look at these. Just make a triangle like this. Just shade them in. Okay? A triangle like this. Okay? This is going to be much easier for you to shade on paper than on this computer. So definitely don't worry about the mess that I'm creating here right now. Okay, right. So this is collenchyma, where there is uneven thickening. There are uneven thickenings. All right. Deposition of cell wall material. Of course, you can draw this at all the corners, on all the corners. And then sclerenchyma would be much more thicker walled. Sclerenchyma as well wouldn't have any intercellular space at all. Okay. Right. And you could draw inner hexagons as well like this. But after this, make sure that you're leaving the impression, for any kind of tissue for that matter, you're leaving the impression that it is a tissue. The cells are going to be continuous. They are not going to be ending there. So it's very, very important for you to make that to be continued sort of impression over there. Okay, right. Then after this, it's important for you to thicken the outer cell wall. Okay, you can do this for all the cells that you're drawing. This is what sclerenchyma would be. Okay, parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Children, remember, you don't have to draw a diagram here. I'm just drawing it here for your reference. All right. Now, what is xylem? Well, we've seen what is phloem. Xylem would be a type of complex permanent tissue which carries water and minerals in the upward direction from the roots to the upper parts of the plant body. It would be the xylem that transports water and dissolved minerals. Right. Now, another 1 mark question. What is the function of stomata? Now, stomata, as you know, you've been hearing this right from your lower grades. Mainly, it helps in gaseous exchange. Right? Oxygen and carbon dioxide, and also transpiration. Much of the transpiration also occurs through the stomata. And transpiration is very, very important as far as transport of water is concerned in a plant body. Right? Acts as a pulling effect. Okay, so this is about stomata. Right. Now coming to the next 1 mark question. What is the role of epidermis in plants? Okay, epidermis. Where have we heard this term before? Think about that. Well, children, remember the epidermis. If you actually look at the cross section of any maybe a leaf or something like that, right? You would see that a very, very thin section, you would see that there are many different layers of cells in it. The outermost layer looks something like this. Okay? This is what we call the epidermis. Below this would be the mesophyll tissue, right? Palisade and spongy. So there would be a lot of intercellular spaces between the spongy mesophyll, and also remember there would be lower epidermis as well, where there would be more number of stomata as compared to the upper epidermis. So basically, remember, I'll use a different color. Okay, just remember, this is the upper epidermis. Okay, and this is the lower epidermis. Why do you think it's there? Just like the skin in the plant body, the epidermis is there to protect the plant tissues. It acts as a protective layer of plant parts. It can even absorb water from the soil, like in the roots, and also allow exchange of gases through the stomata. Right, children? And also on top of this, there might be a thin layer of cuticle in some plants. It would be very, very thick in the case of some plants like the desert plants, but otherwise it's going to be a very, very thin, waxy coating to prevent excessive water loss. Okay, children, so this epidermal layer is what I'm asking about. The main function is protection. And the second function is gaseous exchange, because stomata would be a part of the epidermis. You find stomatal openings on the epidermis. All right? Yes. Now, next one. What are the two main types of plant tissues? Well, definitely, beyond doubt. Type in the answers very, very quickly. I want to see it right now over there. Beyond doubt, your time ends in 3, 2, 1, go. Has to be meristematic and permanent tissue, right? Always remember, meristematic tissue is the type of tissue which is young and evergreen and keeps dividing all the time. Permanent tissues would be those which don't divide any further, but rather they have attained a permanent role in the life of a plant body. Okay, now children, let's take a very, very quick break. Remember, on this particular channel, Vedantu 9th and 10th English, well, as you know, in the last 5-6 months or so, I think it's been close to that, right? We launched, I think, in the month of July or August, and ever since, we've been doing our best, putting in our best efforts to give you the best. And we will continue to do this, so no doubts about that. But on top of this, always remember, Vedantu has the ability to offer you something much bigger. And that is exactly why I want you to be aware of the unlimited live classes with fun and high level quizzes. Children, you can compete with students across different parts of India and even across the world as well. And one very good feature of this is that if at all you happen to miss any session while it's happening live, there's no problem. I mean, it's quite natural because your schools, some of your schools have also reopened. Some of your pre-boards are happening. Some of your ninth graders, I think some sort of exams, unit tests or something might be happening at school. Or even if it's not all those, you might be attending other live sessions while some other sessions are happening on the Vedantu platform, right? So not to worry about it at all. We've got this amazing interactive replay feature wherein you can just click on the replay button and watch the session just like you are attending a live session. Isn't that amazing? Well, how do you get that feel? It's because the quizzes and leaderboards are still going to be live, although it may be a session's replay. All right. So that means you get to be a part of the leaderboard as well. Well, children, of course, beyond say, you can download handwritten notes of your master teachers. Doubt solving tests and assignments are all a part of this entire package. And of course, the best thing, 5,000 plus micro courses and free crash courses for competitive exams. I'll tell you about the pricing, children. But anyway, I want you to be aware of where you can find more details about this. So all you need to do is just click on the link in the description box below and the pinned comment. The coupon code would be AMBPRO. All right, AMBPRO. Okay, now this is how the pricing works. So till March 2021, okay, it's going to be a 1,071 per month. Okay, for 1 month, it's going to be 1,071 rupees. But till the end of March 2021, which is till the end of this academic year, the maximum pro price is going to be 2,000 for all your subjects together, which means science, maths, English, social studies, all four together, just 2,000. Okay. But even on top of this, we are giving you a coupon code right now, AMBPRO. Just go ahead and apply that. It reduces even further to 1,600. But is it still reasonable? Well, I would say it is. But to make it more clear to you, remember, you will be able to avail 400 live sessions, if not more, through Vedantu Pro subscription. And that means to calculate the per session price, what do? 1,600, which is the maximum price, divided by the number of sessions, giving you the per session cost, rupees 4 per session. Can you imagine? Yes, you have to believe it, because Vedantu is strongly committed to making education affordable and accessible to all, and at the same time keeping it at its best quality. Right, children? So remember, as I always tell you, it's even lesser, the price is even lesser than your favorite pack of Lays, not just the party pack, than any sized pack of Lays. Right? And that too, you're getting knowledge at that cost. Imagine. So do not miss out on this opportunity, children. The prices may change with the offers that are currently there. So just keep this in mind. All right. Yes. So moving ahead now to a 2 marks question. How many types of elements together make up the xylem tissue? Okay. And name them. This is a 2 marks question. Let's see how you can answer that. Xylem, of course, it's a 2 marks question, which means you just need to name them, and there would be half mark which each of them would carry. Xylem tissue is made up of 4 types of elements, which are tracheids, vessels, parenchyma, and fibers, or fibers and parenchyma. I prefer to keep it TVPF. I mean, you can think of any mnemonic that comes to your mind, but it is TVPF, standing for xylem. Okay, these are the different xylem elements: tracheids, vessels, parenchyma, and fibers. Xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. Children, it's very important for you to know the difference between these. You just need to know the names of them and a basic idea about what they do. All right. Now, another one, similar question. What are the constituents of phloem? Of course, it's going to be very similar, but well, the PF part is going to be exactly the same. Phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. But before that, the specialization of phloem would come in the sieve tubes and companion cells. Sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. Remember, this is also another area where you can create a mnemonic of your choice, SCPF. And this is going to be TVPF. Okay, right. Now, oh, children, yes, before we go on, let me just give you that as homework now. TVPF and SCPF, okay? I normally say this in almost every class where I teach this concept, but I want you all to keep in mind, and whatever creative mnemonic that comes to your mind for TVPF and SCPF, please put it in the comment section below. All right, I would love to see it, because it's not just about making me happy and the fact that I would love to see it, but it's also the fact that you and other children are going to benefit from these mnemonics. And I want to see how creative you all are. Okay, so come up with your own. It can be anything. I don't want you to Google up and give me a ready-made answer. Just be as creative as you can. All right. How are simple tissues different from complex tissues in plants? Now, simple tissues, the main thing is that they are made up of just one type of cells, and complex tissues would be made of more than one type of cells. Okay. Now, simple tissues, of course, because they are just working as one unit. I mean, they're just one in type, which means they are going to be working as one individual unit to perform a particular function. For example, in the case of parenchyma, right? Parenchyma tissues, or collenchyma, sclerenchyma, any of them at all. The entire tissue, if you see, it's made of just one type of cells. Parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma are examples here. Xylem and phloem would be an example for complex tissue. So here what they do is the different elements of xylem. Remember TVPF and SCPF. They are the different elements which make them up. So they work together as a single unit to bring about one particular function. Right? So this is about being simple and being complex. Literally simple and literally very complex. That's what they are. Okay. Now, 3 marks question. differentiate between parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma on the basis of their cell wall. So for a question like this, each point would carry 1 mark. Cell wall, if you remember the diagram, cell wall for parenchyma is going to be very, very, very thin wall. Okay, cell wall is thin, it's made up of cellulose. Collenchyma, if you remember, the thickenings are only at the corners, right? The thickenings are going to be only at the corners, and this is how they are, right? So you can say they've got thickenings but unevenly thickened at corners, and that too during the deposition of a substance called pectin. Okay, pectin. And sclerenchyma, the deposition is going to be very, very thick. It's going to be lignin deposition, which is there. And also keep in mind that as a result, sclerenchyma walls are very, very thick. Okay, so in increasing order of thickness, parenchyma, followed by collenchyma, followed by sclerenchyma. Okay, I know I've created a mess, but don't worry. I'm just trying to put it here for your quick reference when you look at these notes. Okay, now children, how does cork act as a protective tissue? Okay, now if you remember, I would have told you when we learnt the chapter tissues about the secondary growth and all of that, and how lateral meristem helps in increasing the girth of the plant and gives rise to what we call a bark, right? So what happens is in plants, the secondary meristem, as we call it, cuts off many layers of many external layers of cells which are dead and arranged in a compact manner. As you can see, many layers are there over here, right? This is an older bark, an older stem. Now, these layers, such layers together make what we call cork. And they've got a thick deposition, the deposition of a very, very hard and impervious substance which we call suberin. Okay, so suberin is there, which is very hard and impervious or impermeable. It protects plants from several unfavorable conditions. Okay, like unfavorable environmental conditions and even microbial attack and a lot more. So this is how cork provides protection to plants. Okay, right. Now comes the next one. What are meristematic and permanent tissue? Now, children, remember, keep this in mind that meristematic tissues, well, I would suggest making it in the form of a table would be better when it comes to your exam. But for you to understand it easier, we've put it like this. I mean, it's completely up to you. And of course, your school's teacher also, how she or he would prefer it. Now, meristematic tissue consists of small, thin-walled, continuously dividing cells, and the cell contains a prominent nucleus and dense cytoplasm. Okay, so this is point number 1. What kind of cells it would have? Continuously dividing cells is one major point. And then prominent nucleus and dense cytoplasm. Okay, permanent tissue, remember, it consists of cells which may either be thick or thin-walled. They undergo differentiation and assume a definite shape and function. Okay, so this is about it. And the cells would have, this is point number 3. Cells would have very less cytoplasm. Nucleus is present on the periphery with a big central vacuole. So point number 3 has got further sub-points describing what the cells of permanent tissue would look like. But this is the major difference. Children, to make it very easy for you, always remember meristematic tissues are the young tissues or young, well, what do we say? Evergreen, as we can say, right? Because they are happy-go-lucky all the time and they just want to keep dividing and dividing and dividing and have a lot of fun because they are fully active at this stage. Later, at some point of time in a plant's life, some of these meristematic tissues, they decide to take up a permanent role in life to form permanent tissue. That's the major difference between the two. And remember the subtypes of them as well: apical, intercalary, lateral, which is based on position. Permanent tissues may either be simple or complex. Right, children? So, yes, I think that gives you a good understanding about this. Now comes another one. Identify the type of tissue in the following. Skin and then bark of tree. Think about the answer. Okay, I'll be checking your live chats while the session is getting premiered. So I will be watching you. Okay, skin, bark of tree, bone, lining of kidney tubule, vascular bundle. What do you think they contain? Skin. What type of tissue does it contain? Well, I would love to write the answer here, but okay, yes, I would like to write the answer here. No worries at all. Skin is animal tissue? Yes, of course, but what type of animal tissue? There are four of them, of which skin belongs to epithelial tissues category. Bark of the tree, very, very hard. What do they do? What kind of tissue are they? Sclerenchyma, yes, very, very hard depositions. Bone, what sort of a tissue is bone? Well, bone, was it a tissue in the first place? Yes, it was. It was, or it is a connective tissue, right? Connective tissue in animals. Lining of kidney tubules, coming to slightly more complex stuff. Lining of kidney tubules. Cuboidal epithelium, actually. Yes. So remember, there are different kinds of epithelial tissue as well. Okay. So those areas which would need some additional mechanical support, they would be lined by or lined with cuboidal epithelium. Now, vascular bundles. What is vascular bundle? It includes xylem and phloem. So what are they? Yes, complex permanent tissue. All right. So this is about it. Yes, children. Here goes your answer. Skin is an example of an epithelial tissue. Stratified squamous, if you want to specify. Okay, stratified squamous epithelium. Stratified squamous epithelial tissue. Bark of tree would be sclerenchyma. Bone would be a connective tissue. Lining of kidney tubule would be cuboidal epithelial tissue. Vascular bundle would be a complex permanent tissue. Okay, so this is about it. I think it could either come for as a 3-mark question as mentioned here, or well, I think it's even worth a 5 marks question. Okay, so that's about it, children. So remember to visit the link in the description box below and the pinned comment as well. The coupon code is AMBPRO. All right, so do not forget this. And children, please do remember that it's not just the VIP series. We have been doing many different series for you all. Those of you, well, I know the chapter tissues is a little difficult for many of you. So those of you who want some extra guidance on how to understand the concepts of this chapter, or you just want a deep understanding of this chapter, please remember this is not the end of it. We've already done Umang series, we've done Bio Bites in 15 minutes, and we've also done mind maps, and we've done one shot series as well. Please check out all of these playlists from our channel Vedantu 9th and 10th English. All right, we will be coming up with more sessions in the days and weeks to come. So please do remember to stay subscribed. Click on the subscribe button right now and the bell icon right next to it, because we, as I already have told you and I always keep telling you, we are committed to helping you do your best for your exams. All right, children, and learn with a lot of fun. That's the main part of it. My Instagram ID is also given here, Ambika_Vedantu. So you could follow me even there. And I guess that's about it. So please click on the like button right now if you have enjoyed this, found it useful, and let the world know that this channel Vedantu 9th and 10th English has got a lot of amazing stuff happening here. So please do share it with all your friends as well. Thank you very much, children. I'll see you in yet another lovely session. Until then, take care, stay happy, stay healthy. This is Ambika signing off. Bye-bye.